Okay, market's quiet, so let's look for some news other than earnings as well. There was good news for Force Motors. The company bagged an order to supply light strike vehicles to the Indian Army. However, in April, they saw a fall actually in their month-on-month sales. To tell us more about the new order and generally the sales trajectory, we are joined by Abhay Firodia, Chairman Managing Director of Force Motors. Good morning, Mr. Firodia. Thanks much. Well, first up, can you give us more color about this order? What's the quantum? What percentage does defense form as a part of your total order book anyways?
Well, this is an order for light strike vehicles which is received for the first time by us.
Okay.
Defense is not a major segment in any way of our business.
Okay. So what's the amount and margins in this order?
Though we have been supplying vehicles to military units for civilian users like the Traveller and the Trax vehicles and so on, these are purchased. Ambulances are purchased. But we have not been selling military vehicles per se. This is the first time that we are able to enter the military field with this light strike vehicle.
But sir, what margin will you make on this light strike vehicle compared to the average margins that you make on your other products?
Well, since these vehicles are specialized vehicles and they have to be made very elaborately, naturally the margin is lower.
Okay. All right. Do you see
it's not
this?
a question of these being very, what would you say, high margin business. These are vehicles which will be supplied to the army at a very reasonable price in order that we are able to supply them, and then it becomes a very economic vehicle to possess.
Okay, actually that was going to be my next question. Do you see this as the start of more orders from the Indian Army?
I hope so, because this vehicle is a very capable vehicle. It's able to navigate very tough and rough terrain under very difficult conditions. It's very supple and mobile and able to extricate itself from very difficult situations. It's fast. So that's why it is the light strike vehicle. That means it is not something which is going to fight in a formation, but it is going to do some reconnaissance or some such jobs.
Okay.
Do you have a certain target in mind, sir, then, that since you are interested in defense now, that out of your total revenue pie, would you want, let's say, 10-15% to start coming from defense by a certain time period?
No, I don't see defense becoming a very significant part in the immediate future. But over a period of time, we hope to gain more foothold in the defense area.
Okay.
For the present, these are a few hundred vehicles which are ordered, and hopefully more will be ordered as time goes. But this is the first time that Force Motors has entered into the defense vehicle field.
Okay. Well, since we have you with us, we just have to ask you about the April sales. That number at 1824 was much lower than what you have done in March. Even assuming March was a fight to the finish kind of month for everybody, it's lower than February, it's lower than January, it's lower than December. Why this drop in April?
Well, I would say that post the triple whammy of last year, where you went into BS4, you had this GST problem and many other things in the economy. The kind of business we are in, where we supply vehicles to the civil society for transporting kids to school or for ambulances or for rural transport, these operators have to work on a certain expectation of income. The income does not rise with the cost of the vehicle. And therefore, whenever there is a sudden increase in the cost of the vehicle, there is a dip. And it takes several months for it to go away. So I would imagine that in the last year, particularly second half of the last year, there was this situation where we had to increase our prices because we went to BS6 and many other things happened. For instance, today, vehicles with 9 to 13 seat capacity are still taxed at 43% duty, which is, in my opinion, extraordinary and unexplainable. But that is the way it is. And therefore, this segment is hurt much more than the other segments are, where the average duty is 28%, and on goods vehicles and so on, it is even 18%.
So you can remain in these 1800s for a few months, you think?
I hope we will improve, but this is the situation that is there today.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Mr. Firodia. We'll leave it on that note then. Thanks very much for being with us this morning. Let's now move to another stock in focus, a company that's had yet another blockbuster quarter. We're talking about graphite.